Hello everyone, my name is Kin and that over there is Tash, and we might be back into the swing of things now, I think.
It's doubtful. But I have story time!
Tash has story time for the end of this run.
Yes.
Well, this
Story time, for those of you who don't know, is basically when we say, you know what, we're not taking this seriously at all, let's just tell stories. And of course, for story time, I have something stuck in my throat.
Yes, but feel free to story time whenever you need.
My story time is a story from... I work in retail, I work as a cashier, and I'm one of the few people who utterly adore my job. Because I meet the greatest of people. I'm not even kidding. But anyway, first of all, what you need to understand is that in Australia in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, if you wanted your daughter to succeed in life, you sent her to a grammar school. And I'm not entirely sure if this is actually watering the crops or not. I think I'm watering already watered crops.
That doesn't sound right.
They are already watered because of the sprinklers. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so you had to send them to a grammar school. Now, this was done pretty much everywhere, but grammar schools taught you how to speak properly. They taught you how to speak like the English, my dear. The English. And so, if you wanted your daughter to succeed and be able to get job offers overseas and so forth, you'd send her to a grammar school. But I met this woman while working, and she was probably about 6.5 foot tall and rail thin. So she's in her 80s, so she's very, how do I put this politely?
Old?
She stopped giving a fuck what people think about her.
Oh, there you go.
So, I live near an area where those people who speak like this all the time are just everywhere. And we call them snooty bastards, because that's effectively what they are. They look down on the lower classes, kind of thing. All of them are over 60, so they've worked their whole life and feel it's justified that they look down upon all those still working. So she comes up to me, and the first thing out of her mouth is, "Oh, what's a handsome boy like you do working in a place like this?"
Oh my god.
And I'm, taken aback, the accent, which I'm honestly not doing justice, but accurately. Like, she sounded really posh.
Oh my god.
But, and I'm like, I like working here, it's fun, and my supervisor comes over and is like, yeah, he's one of the few people that actually like working here. We've yet to figure out why. And she's like, oh. I was talking with her about, her kid, because she had this probably about 2-year-old kid, and I asked, as I asked to all those with children with them, if the child's behaving today, and she's like, oh no, the child's being an absolute terror, darling. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that she's my granddaughter, I honestly would have just kicked her to the curb by this point in stage. But, dear God, I'm not... Yeah, it's like, I'm not good with children. I don't know how I managed to raise one of my own. I'm just not good with children. I don't like them. I don't want them near me. And at this point, I'm just nodding, going, all right, this is off to a great start. And I can already tell I'm going to be telling a story about this. Yeah. So she natters on for a while, and eventually she goes something like, I hope I didn't offend you with my comment before. I make it a point of not judging anyone by their job. You see, I was back at Melbourne University in the 60s, you see, darling. And I was with this group of girls, well, I call ourselves girls. We're women now, but we were girls back then. And we were all dating these tortured young artists that eventually became alcoholic and killed themselves, you see. But one of our members, Carrie, I believe her name was, she was dating this young working-class lad who was sweeping the floors in the local supermarket. A very nice man, but he wasn't the tortured artists that we were hanging out with, or the businessmen that we hoped to snag with our feminine wiles. So we all look down on them, but I never judge, but I never judge now because that young gentleman who swept floors back in the 70s, he's now head of the region for that supermarket. So I never judge. You see, I never judge. And at this point, I'm trying not to burst out laughing because this whole thing is just amusing as hell to me. And keep in mind, this is like
surreal.
10 minutes. Yeah, it is. This is 10 minutes before closing. She's the only customer in the store. Everyone is kind of gathered around talking to one of the managers and saying, "See you next week." And she's just saying that all of us is listening to her, trying not to laugh our asses off. And she just kept going for ages, and like everything she said sounded so flippant. Like, I'm not even kidding when she was like, "We were dating these tortured artists who all became alcoholics and killed themselves later, darling." You say, like, I'm not even kidding. That's how she spoke, and I'm standing there going, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
She started using "darling" as a comma.
Effectively, yes. Yes. And it was just, oh, that was one of the weirdest goddamn things. And I'm not doing it justice because I am tired and I can't do the voice properly when I'm tired. But everywhere. The people with this accent are everywhere. And I can't say the name of what we actually call them aside from snooty bosses because that gives away where I live. And I'd really rather not people stalk me at my house. Because, quite frankly, I'm pretty easy to find once you can narrow down the location. Just ask around for the guy with the weird accent. Hey, we have maple syrup now. Sweet.
That sounds like something I could walk into Australia and then just go, "Where's the guy with the weird accents?" And people will look around and, I don't know, either look at you or look at me.
Trust me, if you could actually find where I work, all you'd have to do is go in and ask, could I speak to the guy with the weird accent who served me a couple of weeks ago? And they just immediately call me.
Nice.
Because I'm the only guy with a weird accent working there. I'm going to water these because these haven't been watered. But yeah, there's this entire town, and every one of them is just this snooty, stuck-up person like you'd expect them to be, and it's utterly hysterical. Because we always try and give people, the benefit of the doubt, but with these guys, when the minute you hear that accent, you're just like, "Oh, strap yourself in, I'm in for a time."
I'm in for a good time, me. I'm not going to try and do...
Not a bad time, just a time.
I usually try and avoid accents because I'm very bad at them, but I am sleepy, so I am unfiltered at this point.
Go for it. But the first time we encountered them, I used to have this dog, Millie, and my stepmother took the dog to this very reputable dog groomers that one of her friends had taught about in Barrow. Or, was it in Barrow? No, it wasn't in Barrow. Barrow's where they went on holiday recently. I've got no clue where the hell it was from. Somewhere a bit north of us, I believe. I've got no clue. But anyway, she walked in to this place because they were staying there for, I think it was a couple of weeks, and they brought Millie with her because they couldn't find a dog sitter in time. So she walks into this place because they need to get her groomed because it's summer, and Millie is like a toy poodle crossed with a shih tzu crossed with something else. She's effectively a white fluff ball of a dog. And
sounds adorable, though.
White. Yeah, adorable dog, worst breath you've ever smelled in your life. Like, Jesus Christ, you did not let this dog lick you. But they walk into this very bespoke dog groomers in this place, and they're like, "Hi, I'd like to get Millie shaven so that she doesn't overheat during the summer." And the woman's like, "Well, darling, you should come back in about 5 hours." And my stepmother's like, 5 hours? That's a lot longer than it usually takes. May I ask why it takes that long? And the woman goes, without a word of a lie, "Oh, you see, we spend time with the dogs.
Oh my God.
We get to know them so that we can groom them to suit their own personalities, you see. See, each dog has a personality, and we here like to groom the dogs to suit them."
Are they going to be sending them to grammar school?
I don't freaking know.
Your dog, Millie comes home, she's like, "Woof. Woof, darling, woof."
Woof, darling. But my stepmother just poked her face in. "All right, then I will see you in 5 hours," and then left, got in the car, and just exploded into laughter. And my stepmother is not a person who explodes into laughter very often like that.
No, she explodes into bitchery.
No, she's nice. She actually is. My stepmother's absolutely amazing, and I absolutely love her. But when she's tired, she kind of stops being as nice as she usually is. And she was very tired that evening. She slept for like 18 hours when they got home from the holiday.
That sounds, well, a car trip usually does that to me as well, since I get motion sick.
No, my parents recently went to India, for those who don't know. They went there for like a month. So it took 15-hour flight back, so she just collapsed.
Only 15
She only slept
hours.
15 hours because the possums kept waking her up.
Oh.
Yeah, we have possums in our roof, and the goddamn things are like cats on steroids on crack and meth. Like, they just disco party at 4 in the morning, and I've got no clue why. They have a case of what my friend calls the zoomies, which is when your pet just zooms from room to room in your house for no apparent reason. But yeah,
That's adorable when that happens, though.
It is adorable, but if you ever meet anyone in Australia with the very accent, just know you're going to be in for a very good time, and you're probably going to be telling that story for a very long time, because God knows, the thing with the snooty lady, as we call her, that happened probably 3 years ago. I can still vividly remember every moment of it, because it's the funniest goddamn thing. I've even used it as a speech for Toastmasters, I believe, and just got raucous laughter.
Sounds awesome. Toastmasters is a thing that would scare me in the beginning.
Honestly, I got anxious over it. For those of you who are unaware, Toastmasters, and are probably Googling at this point, Toastmasters, one word, is a public speaking group, where you go and you learn how to do public speaking.
Yes, while other people watch you.
Yeah, my dad's been a member for like a decade and a half. I was a member for several years. I stopped because Dad got to be very high up. He was on like the administrative representative groups of our local one, and everyone else was on that we talked to was also on the administrative group because it's a relatively small club. So he got involved in the more political side of Toastmasters and interclub politics, intra-club politics, and it all just got too much for me because it meant I got all the political crap while there and while at home, and so I decided one or the other and left. Because
That makes sense.
I'm sick and tired of it. If you're gonna complain to me about people being idiots, I'd rather not have to look at them over a table for 4 hours a week.
This is a good point. For my job, we work very closely with Toastmasters because they teach us. I don't know, they give us tips and tricks, but we have like super high up people with psychology degrees and shit.
Oh yeah.
So
like,
then,
you work in the tech manufacturing industry, you know how much psychology goes into that kind of stuff?
yes.
Just in the marketing alone, much less how you conduct your business.
Because the thing is,
Like,
I am part of a team that teaches the field force, so the guys that are in stores. So the difficulty about that...
Effectively, he would teach people like me.
Yes. Difficulty with that is every single thing you say has to be like 120,000% correct. And when we do Toastmaster stuff, we get filmed.
Yeah.
So, and then they, like afterwards, they play the whole thing back so you sit in the crowd and watch yourself present. And
Yeah,
they
it's
point
true.
out all of the mistakes you make. Not necessarily by saying something wrong, but depending on how new you are. But usually your body language, and I flail a lot when I talk. So that to them,
you don't. Yeah.
that to them is a problem. They also go, there's a thing, there's a thing about too much talking. You talk people to death, and I go, fuck you. Because I know all of these people. They started where I started.
Of a kangaroo.
Oh yes. No, I get
remember-
severely irritated because I know I talk a lot and I babble a lot of nonsense. But psychologically speaking, that's because apparently I'm an honest person
Yeah.
and I'm nice and stuff.
You'd best get back home right quick. You've got a minute. Before it'll just kind of make you collapse.
Yes, luckily I can take the minecart. I hate being on camera. This is why I don't have face cam. I despise seeing myself on a screen because you always pick at your worst insecurity. Like I would go, oh god, my eyebrows look so bushy today, or something's wrong with my face. And Toastmasters is very difficult when they come through to teach us stuff because that just disorients me. I flail a lot and I lose confidence easily because I know I'm going to be seeing myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. I have the same issue. It's body positivity, and nobody really gives a shit about body positivity in males, so there's not a lot of resources to help us out, aside from each other.
Yes.
Which we do help each other out a lot. But for me, the hardest part about Toastmasters was actually having to write the freaking speeches, because I never know what to talk about. Because if I wanted to talk about the stuff that I would like to talk about, I'd be speaking about games, I'd be speaking about stuff like that, that no one assembled would ever be able to either know what the hell I'm talking about or relate to. And when you do public speaking, you need to be able to capture and hold a room. So you need to have something universal that everyone can relate to. Which is why I tell retail stories, because everyone can relate to it. Because if you've worked in retail, you've seen people like what I'm describing. And if you're as a customer, you love hearing stories about weird or shit customers. Like I tell stories to my actual customers all the time about just strange occurrences.
Also, try not to be that customer, because there will be a story told about you.
Yes, there will be here's the thing. If you have ever tried to screw over a retail store, they will be telling stories about you. And they will always have you featured in this very annoying voice. Because that's what you sound like to us.
Yes, you are not a person to us.
Shit. You are not you are a person to us until such point as you try and screw with us and fuck us over or get angry with us for no reason, in which case you become another story that we tell, both customers, our families, anyone on the internet who will listen, or each other, because God knows retail employees, every time I meet one at work, we just exchange stories.
Yes,
and
because
goddamn is it fun.
That's one of the only fun things about the job.
It's one of the best parts about the job, I feel, because I collect loads of stories from parents getting, like, utterly pissed off at me because I've spoken to their kid and been able to connect almost immediately, because you have a kid who's holding something like Pokemon cards or a Minecraft toy, or there was an autistic kid a few months back that had a Sonic hat on, and I asked him about it, and he started opening up a lot more than he normally would. And if you know anything about autism, you know how big of a thing that is. And I've gotten parents actually go to me, how can you connect to my kids so easily? I'm just like, we have the same interests. How do you connect to people around you? You have similar interests to them.
This is true.
I love my job. I love my job just for the stories it gives me. Like,
yes,
just
I
the
agree.
amount of stupidity I've seen. And you work in tech. You've probably seen far less, but far more concentrated stupidity in your field.
Oh, I wouldn't call it stupidity. What I've noticed is usually fear. People are scared of new technology, so if it does one little thing that it's not supposed to, we flip shit, and then we want to give it back.
I outright dropped my old phone, and it had the entire bottom section of it just completely cracked and smashed, but it still worked perfectly fine. So I'm like, all right, then I'll just keep going on. Okay. And then one day I woke up, I picked it up, and it's all pixeled, and I can't see a fucking thing. And I'm just like, all right, well, time to get a new phone.
Yep, you were probably a story for that.
If the technology still works, I'll just keep using it. They're both Samsung phones, so you guys do fucking good with your phones, because I think I have a Samsung 7 Edge. It hasn't broken yet, and I've dropped it so many times on concrete and tile. Like, it's not even funny.
Well, thank you for taking care of it. Also, thank you for blowing where I work. That's fine, I'll censor it out, it's cool.
It's cool. Just like...
Yes. That's because you work for... And then I'll insert something. Okay, but thank you guys so much for watching, because this episode is getting...
company.
Oh, yes.
Oh, come on, let's be blunt. They stay for the talking at the end. It's the best part of the video.
Well, I hope so. But the video's running on a little long. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Alright, then you do an outro.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Ken, that has been Tash. You've been awesome as always, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.